Welcome to episode 17 of News for the Blues, your bite-sized show brought to you by the Unholy Trinity Everton podcast. Still in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about last Sunday, trying to shift it. Difficult, obviously, after the way it ended. But we've got to try and move on. That was what the manager said today as well, in terms of the players. But it's hard, isn't it? The manager made reference to in his press conference the players. I think it was in Jai had an interview with Sky, and he said there was a bit of anger in the dressing room post-match, and it was a missed opportunity, wasn't it, against an average Liverpool side. Didn't deserve to win the game. We were the better side. I think a draw was the least that we deserved. But as we covered on the podcast last Sunday, you don't take your chances, and when you're on top, you don't put the ball in the back of the net, or cause them enough problems really as well. Obviously, when the goalkeeper went off and Woodman came on, Everton just didn't do enough, did they, to take the game to Liverpool's opposing and go on and win it. But we dust ourselves down and we go again. And we'll kick things off with a bit of injury news. Obviously, the shirt over my left shoulder is the 23-24 third shirt with the cup printing on with Jared Branthwaite's name and number, and he's one player, sadly, who we lost late on against Liverpool to a hamstring injury. It has since been confirmed that he will miss the rest of the season. David Moyes said that again today, but it's not as bad as first feared. The big concern was that it was the same injury to the same part of the hamstring that he had the operation on this season, which isn't the case, which is great news. He said it probably an injury that would keep a player out, say, for 6 weeks or so. Obviously, the season's only got around that time to run. Well, probably a bit less now, isn't it, really, to be honest? But he should be back, fingers crossed, pre-season and then for the new season. So not too bad. A big miss, though, obviously, for the remaining 5 games of the season. Big game against West Ham this weekend, of course. So he would have been in the starting 11. I thought he was fabulous against Liverpool. You watch him, some of his passes were brilliant, his tackling. You know, he flies in, wins the ball. Just such a calm, composed footballer. But these little hamstring issues are a bit of a concern. But because of the kind of player that he is, he's an explosive player, isn't he? He's quick, he's powerful, strong. These things can happen. Hopefully, as he gets a little bit older, these things do settle down as well. But big miss for the remainder of the season. Another big miss for Saturday is Beto. Sadly, David Moyes confirmed that he did suffer concussion. Although at the time, Everton didn't utilise the concussion substitute. So whether there was some kind of thinking that if we say that, then he's definitely got to miss next week's game, but he was concussed, so he can't play against West Ham. And they're the 2 players that are missing, obviously including Jack Grealish as well, who's a long-term absentee. David Moyes was then asked in regards to looking ahead to the weekend about assuming Thierno Barry is going to be playing. He was a little bit dismissive, really, in terms of that. Although naturally he will come in, there's no mistake in it. But he asked him what Thierno Barry's got to show. Basically, I don't think he scored the last 5 games. Obviously, Beto's been in great form as well. And he said, well, he's got to show that he's a team player, show that he's committed. And obviously, he's the way to impress the manager is to score as well. I think that there's a couple of little messages there, isn't there, in terms of maybe what we've been saying for a little bit of a while over the course of the last few weeks, and maybe earlier part of the season as well, when you look at a player and you get sort of the attitude of a player. You watch them sometimes, and when he came on against Liverpool, didn't seem to be quite there. Just didn't seem to be quite right. Don't know why. But if you're going to play up front for any football club or for our football club, the least that we demand is effort. And that's what Beto's always done. You know, we can have a really, really poor game in terms of not contributing in an attacking sense, but he works really hard. And that's what Barry has got to try and replicate. We know he's got ability. He scored a variety of different goals this season. Can he do it now, you know, for the remainder of the season? He's got a big chance tomorrow to show that he can. We've seen him away from home score some great goals. The one in Villa is a big standout. Obviously, Forest as well. Scored a fabulous goal against Forest. So you just think, will he think now, well, I've got an opportunity to show my worth, like Beto did when he got brought back in, started scoring goals. If you get brought back in and get the opportunity, go and score a goal, or at least contribute. So chance for him tomorrow, assuming he starts, and with the mind he was a little bit coy on, but we assume that he will be starting. Other big news out of the club of the last day also was the extension to Michael Keane's contract. Obviously, he was in his final year, wasn't he? He signed that 1 year deal last summer, off the top of my head. He signed a further 1 year deal to June 2027. And a player who's had a very, very solid season. He's obviously been happy, I think, with the time that he's got this season. He mentioned it in his interview yesterday, probably playing more than he thought that he would do. The manager certainly trusts him. The manager said in the press conference today, he deserves a contract. And sometimes when you get to that age where you are sort of living year by year almost in terms of getting these yearly contracts, you have to prove your worth to the manager, to the club, to the players. And Michael Keane, I think, has taken that on board this season, and I think has been terrific. And speaking to him a few weeks ago on our show, he was delighted with how well he has played this season, and also with the manager, the way the manager's shown trust in him, and he's getting a lot from him. So fair enough, he's done really well. It probably made sense to extend him for a further year. We're going to his 10th season, which is a long, long time, isn't it, for any player in this day and age? But it'll be the 10th season that Michael Keane's been at the football club. So hopefully for him, I suppose from our perspective, we don't want him having to be playing 35, 40 games a season, and I don't think really he's the kind of sort of player now that should be or needs to be doing that. But when he's been called upon this season, and he's played more often than not, given Jared Branthwaite's injury issues, he's done really well. And delighted for him, he's got his 1 year contract. And that gives a little bit of stability for him. And going into the summer now, obviously, he knows exactly where he is. And the manager was asked, obviously, there's a couple of other players in a similar situation, Seamus Coleman and Jessica Garner-Gay. And he said we'll get a bit more news on those two in the coming weeks. Garner-Gay had an option, I'm pretty sure, when he signed his deal last summer. So I would assume that they will execute that option. Seamus Coleman, less likely to, in my opinion. You would assume that the lack of football this season through injury, also when he's been fit, he's not been selected. Is he sort of doing a bit more now from a coaching perspective, keeping an eye on things from a tactical perspective? We've seen him away at Fulham in the stands with David Moyes when he was serving a touchline ban, standing next to him, watching the game. So you wonder whether his mind is now focusing a little bit more on that. But I'm sure he will be part of the football club next season in some capacity, but maybe just not as a player. A couple of other players that David Moyes was asked about. One being Harrison Armstrong, because obviously he was playing him fairly regularly, wasn't he? He recalled him from Preston when we had obviously injury issues and we had African Cup of Nations was going on and things like that. We kept him at the football club. He played on the wing. He played as a 10, central midfield, variety of positions. And he said, he was asked what's happening with him. He said, well, we've seen a little bit of a dip in training, I assume. He said, which is not surprising, given how much football he's played this season as a young player. He said, he's got to get back to those levels, basically. So he is fit, he is training, but not being selected. We've seen it before, haven't we, when he's been asked about Tyler Diblin in terms of how he performs in training. Now, if you don't do it in training or don't show the manager enough, he won't play it. That's simply how it is. So Harrison Armstrong seems to be in that camp currently, but so we'll see if he's in the squad tomorrow. Maybe he will be, given the fact there's no Beto and there's no Jared Branthwaite. Maybe then it pushes him back up the pecking order. We'll see what happens. But and also a common question about Braden Graham, because there's another player. I think he scored 4 in Everton 184 was against Ipswich. Was it last week? And he scored 4. Been in great form this season for the under-21s, getting rave reviews. Given the fact, obviously, Beto's injured, could we see him maybe just travel with the first team squad, being around it? The manager was quite quick to shut that down and say he's not quite at the level of the first team just yet. So one to watch for the future. Certainly, I've said it before on this show and on the main podcast, he's a player that needs to go and play men's football on a regular basis. Go and get a good loan for next season. Go and play your say, like Harrison Armstrong has done obviously a couple of times. Go and do that. Go and play regular first team football, and then come back and see how you've developed. And that's how it's going to be, I think, with him as well. But great future ahead of him, it looks like. Done really, really well this season. Scored a lot of goals, including those 4 against Ipswich last week. So yeah, it's one of those where he'll be a player to watch for the future, I'm sure, but not just yet. And that's me for today. Nice, quick, simple, easy one. As we try and look forward now and not look back. Still nothing for Europe with the manager. Obviously, he's trying to talk it down again today because he said every time he talks it off, the wheels fall off a little bit. So we're trying to talk it down. Still very much in the hunt for Europe. Don't you worry about that. 5 big games to go. 2 at home, obviously 3 away. Can we do it? Who knows? Either way, it won't be a disaster if we don't. It'd be great if we do. But lots to play for. Exciting the back end of the season. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you on Sunday on the main podcast.